Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life and your business, your health, fitness, mindset and body from where you are right now to where it is that you truly want to be. And today I want to ask you to stop being lazy. If that is you, if you are in a lazy spot, if you have lazy tendencies, then it's time to stop. I see this happen so much in my community, in what's going on with COVID right now. COVID has created a sense of great uncertainty, and we have many states around Australia at the moment that are in lockdown. We are not in lockdown, and at the time of recording, I think it's midnight tonight, we've got some actual further restrictions that are easing. So in terms of mask wearing and stuff, that's going to ease. But I know depending on where you are and what's happening in your part of the world with COVID, this may or may not be having the same impact on you. Because I speak to my colleagues over on the other side of the world in Florida and LA and places like that, and their life, they say, is pretty much back to normal. You know, people are either wearing masks, not wearing masks, it's optional, business is back to normal. People are still getting sick, people are still dying, but they're just moving on and just getting on with it. Here, if there's a slight indication that there's some people that have got a bit of COVID, then they start to talk about lockdown straight away. And so what I found that does is just creates a huge amount of uncertainty. Now, we're in my hometown right now at the date of recording this, we're in winter. Okay, about to hit the middle of winter. Like today, I get up, it's like 2 degrees. Now I know in parts of the world that 2 degrees is warm, but for us 2 degrees, it's cold. Actually it looks like a beautiful day. It's morning and the sun's just coming up, but it looks like a gorgeous day. But despite that, people think it's cold, there's uncertainty with COVID, therefore I'm not going to do certain things. And certainly when it comes to people's health and their wellness and movement, eating properly, in winter people stay more covered up. People don't want to get out of bed early, they want to stay in bed. They eat high calorie food, more comfort type food, heavier foods. And so they get this different outcome for their health and then wonder why they keep living the same cycle over and over again. And I think if they pulled their life apart and had a look at it in detail in terms of their health and wellness, they would see that they've always been the same way. It's just that through the seasons, they go through these waves like a roller coaster where maybe they're a little bit more focused and they will watch what they're eating for a bit. They'll join the gym or go back to the gym and do that for a few weeks, maybe 12 weeks, and then bang, they go back into a new season and back into some old habits and therefore start to relive the same things and get the same outcomes over and over and over again. I hear people say that, I'm just being lazy during winter. Well, why? Why are you wearing that as a badge of honor that, it's winter, so I'm just being a little bit lazy? So why are you being lazy? Why don't you get off your butt and do something about it? Because I know that you're not happy with where you are. You don't have a great level of health. You're not happy with the body that you've got. You're not happy with the energy that you've got. But you make up all these different stories as to why you are where you are. And then when you do get back into something, you don't work very hard at it. You're just going through the paces. The number of people I see that just go to the gym and you see them in the gym, they've just turned up. Not working hard. They're not focused, they're not recording what it is that they're doing, they don't have a plan going in. You can see that they're just not lifting heavy weights, they're not putting in an effort, they're not following a structure, they're just going from one thing to the next to the next. And that's it, they're spending more time on posting stuff on Instagram or looking at stuff on their phone than they are working out. I was like, why don't you focus a little bit more? And you'll get some more results. So if that's you in the space of your health and wellness, then stop being lazy about it. You've got one life. One of my clients this morning was telling me about somebody that they know that their son just passed away. He's 8 years old. He was playing outside in a tree. He fell out of the tree, obviously fell the wrong way, broke his neck and passed away. I think that's at 8 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. Loved basketball apparently, was a good basketball player. And now he's gone. That family's devastated, asking a whole bunch of what if type questions. And you hear a story like that and you think, wow, there's a whole life that didn't get to be lived. And yet when it comes to yourself, how much of your life are you currently not living? All this potential that you have within you that is just going to remain potential. You never tap into it. You never do what you can with it. You just give up. You say, oh, well, I'll just do a little bit of this. Why? Why? Think about that 8-year-old kid. A whole lifetime of hopes, dreams, people that they were going to meet, lives that they were going to change, smiles that they were going to put on people's faces. All of those things are now gone. And yet right now you're sitting there and maybe you're saying, well, yeah, I'm just lazy in this particular area. Don't be lazy. Just don't. Snap out of it. Make a decision to change. Stop just making up those excuses as to why you can't have something else. I don't have the time. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm not inexperienced. I don't have the confidence. I wouldn't know what to do. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the money to do it. They're just reasons to fail. If you start to change that story, you can have a different outcome. If you're a long-term listener, you would have heard me talk about this before. But for so many decades, I played a victim in my life. And I just felt that I was hard done by. And I felt that everybody else had it better than me. Everybody else was taller than me. So therefore life was easier for them. I was bullied as a kid, so therefore I'm a victim and I'm worse off because this happened. I wasn't smart at school, so therefore I didn't get these opportunities. I was too small to be good at sport, so therefore I wasn't popular, therefore this didn't happen, therefore I didn't have the confidence to be able to talk to people, therefore I am not as successful or can ever be as successful as others because I just don't have that good self-image. I'm not good looking enough, so therefore I'm not going to attract a partner, therefore I'm not going to get that opportunity. I used to see kids at school, the ones that were really smart and the ones that were also really great at sport and really popular, were also really good looking. And I'm like, and tall. I'm like, they're all the things that I'm not. So therefore I can never be that. Then when I got into adulthood, I carried that story with me. I wasn't going to be good at my job. I'm not as good as this person at my job. Therefore, I'm not going to be successful. I'm just going to keep collecting a paycheck and strolling on through life. This is the body that I wanted, but I know that I'm not going to be able to achieve it because look at all these other areas of my life where I've failed. I may as well just not bother and just stay where I am. It sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud, but this was the voice that was saying to me over and over, 24/7, probably even as I slept, that I was not going to be successful. I was just a loser. I tell the kids that people used to call me Retard Rob because that was how I felt about myself. No one did actually call me that, but that was what I used to say to myself. Because I just didn't have a self-belief. And through that, language came some very lazy tendencies. Even though I had what I thought was a good work ethic, I didn't know what hard work was and a good work ethic until many years later. Yes, when I was young, I used to play the bagpipes and I wanted to compete. And I wanted to compete in the world championships, and I practiced and practiced and practiced, and I had a really good work ethic around that. But when it came to other areas, and when I came to getting a job, and even when I got my business, I thought I knew what hard work was, but I didn't until I started working hard. That's when I started to discover what hard work was. And when I got the right coaching and realized that, wow, you're living this story of a victim to yourself over and over, and yet here's all these people that have been so successful and have come from a base that is far worse than mine. They've come from a lot more pain than I have had before. And look at this phenomenal success that they've been able to have. Why don't you, rather than just hope that success is going to come your way, why don't you do something about it? And why don't you learn what all the key things are that make people successful, and see how you can learn from that, and see how you can implement those things in your life to make a difference to yourself. And that's what I did. I read and I read and I implemented and I learned. And even though I didn't understand why they said, you need to do this, even though I didn't understand it, I had a little faith in knowing that, well, this is somebody that's way, way more successful than me. This worked for them. They're telling me to do this, so I'm going to do it and hope the dots join somewhere down the track, and which they did. And after conditioning myself for years and years with certain daily things that I needed to be doing, getting up 2 hours earlier than I'd ever gotten up before. Anytime you can get up with a number that's got a 4 in front of it, that's when you know you're serious about taking your life from one level to another, taking it to a place that you've never been before. And that's what I said to myself. If I want something that I've never had before and I've never conceived possible before, I need to do the things that I've never done before. And that means getting up at a time when no one else is up, pretty much. And that was like 4:20. I said, if I do that, look at all the things that I can get done now when everybody else is asleep. Automatically, that's telling me that I'm moving in the right direction. But you can't just get up and just sit at your desk and do nothing. You've got to have a structured plan. And that's what I did. I had a purposeful plan. And it's from taking action day after day after day and getting the right accountability in place and the guidance through the coaching. That is what has really moved my business life from where I thought I was doing everything right to now where I have confidence every day knowing that I'm doing things right. And I've developed this hunger to continually grow. And that's only come from working with my coach. He helped me see how to create that hunger because he's hungry. And in listening to what he does, that resonated with me and said, I can see what it's doing for him. So I'm going to do that as well. And the rest is just mind limitations. You know, I was thinking I was too short, too ugly, not smart enough, all of these things, but none of that mattered. None of it mattered. And when I convinced myself that that was the case, that's when I started to just act in a way that was right for me. And it was really powerful. Now, when it comes to your health and wellness, if you've always been overweight, you don't have to remain that way. And I know that you'll have reasons in your mind as to why you are where you are. But if you really, truly want something different, if you really want a sexy body, let's be honest. You want the health too, but you really want a sexy body. You want to walk in a room and have people notice you. Let's face it, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to be noticed? Who doesn't want to be admired? Who doesn't want to be desired? Everybody does. It's just that maybe you're not admitting that to yourself. But maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's really something that drives you to say, yeah, do you know what? I do want that sexy body. Well, even if you've never had that, stop telling yourself you never can, because as long as you keep telling yourself that, that's going to create lazy habits, it's going to create a lazy mindset, and guess what? You will always stay there, always. But when you change your mind and say, even though since the age of 12 or 13 I've been a bigger girl or a bigger guy, you don't have to stay that way. Even if you've got underlying health issues that are not helping you stay in the position you are, or helping you stay in the position you are, you don't have to have those health and, whether it be heart disease or other diabetes, those types of conditions, you don't have to allow those to stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. And yet so many people remain dormant in their action because they believe that it does. But it doesn't. It's just you having a really strong argument to self as to why you can't change. But aren't you sick of that? Aren't you sick of that voice inside your head that says, you can't do that? You've always been this way. You'll never be able to achieve that, no matter what age. I'm working with a 77-year-old and a 74-year-old couple right now. And he's always been overweight. He's always had a focus on other things in terms of just dining out and drinking. And now, because believe it or not, at that age, they're about to get married. They've known each other for 3 years and they're about to get married. It's a gorgeous story. And just after 1 week of doing the things that I've said, making some slight changes to their food and making introducing some strength exercise, he's lost 2 kilos in 1 week exactly, and she's lost 1.7, I think, or 1.6 kilos in a week at their age. So if you ever think you're too old, you are just wrong. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter. I mean, these guys have a list of medications that they take, a list of diseases between the two of them that they've either had in the past or operations, etc. But even still, they're driven to make a change because they're about to get married and they want to be enjoying the rest of their life, being energized and functionally fit, pain-free, and being able to enjoy the time that they have left together. And, I work with people that are maybe in their mid-30s that have seemingly given up. And they're overweight, obese, unhappy with the way that they look, stay covered up, go to a lot of attention with their hair and their makeup and all that kind of stuff, but won't invest the time in themselves to make a different decision about where they could get to in terms of their health and their wellness and other areas of their life as well. Stop being lazy. And if that sounds harsh, I'm sorry, but sometimes somebody needs to tell you the hard truth and say, you look like you do right now because of every decision that you've made to put yourself there. And I don't care if you're a single mum, a single dad, whether you're in a job that you don't like, you don't get paid enough, you don't feel like you've got enough money, you've been a victim of family violence, all of those things, then tough luck. Chances are you've played your role in that situation. Now, that's not to demean any of those situations. I've personally been a victim of family violence. It's not a pretty thing. It's not a nice thing to go through. And it's wrong. People that inflict it on people, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, it's a control mechanism. It's not nice. Okay? But you can sit there and play victim about it, or you can decide to make a change about everything that's happened in the past to say, well, do you know what? I'm not going to live my life looking in the rearview mirror, looking back and saying, because of all of that that's taken place, this is why I have to live my life moving forward like I'm carrying an anchor behind me. No. You can live like that, but it's no way to live. Living in the past, you leave the anchor behind and you say, that was then, this is now. This is why I'm going to be the way that I am now. What I did was looked at all the things that I was talking about why I was a victim and said, that's not right, Rob. All of those things that you're saying you are the way that you are because of those things that happened, no. You are the way that you are now because you've allowed those things to be your story. And you've allowed those things to stop you. And you've allowed those things to hold you back and not create a new story for yourself. I just got sick and tired of telling myself the same stuff and getting outcomes that I wasn't pleased with. Then I said, well, why do you keep doing the same thing, idiot? Change your strategy. Change your mindset. Why is this called the Mental Toughness and Body Show? Because so much of what we need to change in our lives to get better outcomes comes down to toughening our mindset and growing that every single day so that we can become who we really want to be. We can do the things that we want to be, or want to do, because we are the person that we want to, we are the person that we want to be. And you keep growing that every day. We use laziness as an excuse so often. And I'm here to tell you that it's time to stop. If you're not achieving the business results that you want to, there's a reason that that's happening, and you can blame all sorts of things, but it's you. If your relationship isn't working out the way that you want it to, then there's a reason that it's not working out. Now, sometimes it's the other person. A lot of the time it's you and the way that you think about it. But whatever it is, you're playing your role right now. So you need to step up and say, okay, I'm going to devote the best version of myself for the next 30 days in this relationship, and then see what the outcome is that I get as a result of that. That's what's really important. When it comes to your health, your fitness, the body that you want, you need to change your mindset around where you are right now, the way you've always been. Forget that. And say, because I've always been that way, that's driving me to be never that way ever again. That was one of the things that I said. I'm never going to feel like this ever again. I'm going to change my look. I got bullied as a kid. When I was in my early 20s, somebody threatened to kill me. And I said, I'm never going to feel that way again. I felt immobilized. I felt embarrassed. I felt powerless. I said, I'm never going to feel that way again. So I'm going to change my body forever, because I'm sick and tired of being the little kid that people pick on. And that's when I started to join the gym in 1988, and I changed my physical me. And it was probably a decade later before I realized that I also need to change my mindset, the mental me as well. And it's only been really the last 8 years since I've been divorced, to be honest, that I've really stepped up the way that I think about who I am as a person and how to change what I want in terms of outcomes in this world. And it's probably only been the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, where I've stepped things up enormously for my business. And that's through getting the right coaching. But the decision to get the right coaching has been changing the outcomes that I want to achieve in my life, which drove me to getting the coaching. My body, my health, my wellness, because I want to achieve the success in the various elements of my life. I know that that needs to be my number one priority. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do the things that I want is to dramatically change my health and wellness, my fitness. And I wanted to change my body as well. I said, you keep talking about this is what you want for your body, and maybe one day you'll do that. But that one day needs to be now. It needs to be today. And so that's why these last 2 years, I've never been more focused in my life. I've never looked as good as I have in my life. And I've never been as energized and focused in my life. And I made a decision to make sure that I set really high goals for myself, but also that I got the coaching because I wanted the accountability. And I wanted somebody that was the best at what they did to help me get there. And I've been very, very thankful for the work that the relationship that I have with my strength and conditioning coach. Or coaches, there's two of them. I decided to stop being lazy and just do it. And so you can do that too. So if you want to connect with me, there's a few ways that you can do it. If you're thinking, how do I achieve the body that I want to achieve and the health that I want to achieve? There's two places where you can, well, three you can go. You can go and get my book, Awaken the Sexy Within. There's a 43-step blueprint into how to take you from where you are to improve your health, your wellness, your body significantly. You can get the next step is the Awaken the Sexy Within online program. It's a 60-day program. There's 86 actions to be taken over the 60 days. And you'll be complete. If you immerse yourself in the book and if you immerse yourself in the online program, I guarantee you your thinking, your mindset, your health, your fitness, your body will be different in 60 days for the better. You'll be fundamentally a different person because it's about the mindset. It's about changing those things. And then the third way is you can reach out for a consultation. Go to the Mental Toughness and bodyshow.com, opt in for a free consultation. If you're unsure what's right for you, if you want one of those programs or the book, or if you want to get ongoing coaching from me personally to help hold you accountable to the things that you want to achieve, then let's do it. If you want to talk about mapping out a plan, a blueprint, a timeline for how long it's going to take you to lose 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 kilos, then let's start the conversation. I've done it. I continue to strive every day to be a better version of myself. I no longer, I can hand on heart, I'll put my hand on my heart as I say this, I can honestly tell you that I no longer play victim. I just don't. I have full responsibility for my life and the outcomes, and so do you. It's just that you're not achieving the outcomes because you're not fully committing to what it is that you want, and maybe you haven't defined what it is that you want. And if you're like me, you didn't know how to get there. You didn't know how to take that first step. But when you take that first step, what comes next? The second step, and the third. And then as you take more steps, you get more confident. That's how success starts. But like that saying goes from, I think it was Zig Ziglar, you don't need to be great to get started, but you do need to start to be great. So let's stop being lazy. Let's get the outcomes we want. Stay safe, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.